Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
I said,
Second?
what would you give for him?
I don't know. What would you give for?
Testy in here today.
Yeah.
Look, Barth will tell you I have recency bias. If I watched your film yesterday, you're my favorite player.
Right. I want to figure out how they break up. You know, Devontae Parker.
I missed that.
You ruined my train of thought there, Paul. I think my line was, I was like, oh, what's the book about? And Fred was like, Africa. And I'm like, it's very broad. Africa, like just generally Africa.
Well, he went to Africa for 2 weeks, and so he decided he knew enough to write a book.
looking for Nub. Paul in the Serengeti, a young, bald Rhode Island man.
Somehow somebody got their hands on excerpts, and it got to the web.
Oh, jeez.
Excerpts.
Yeah.
Every week for the pregame show, you take a picture of the studio, right? Mm-hmm. Did you ever think to watermark it?
No.
Eric would.
All right, Josh, you're next on Patriots Patriots Unfiltered.
What?
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Fueled by Duncan.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium, and we've got a busy show and a full studio. It's Deuce, it's Tamara, it's Alex, it's Fred, it's Matt. No Paul. Paul was so upset with the Juju Smith-Schuster signing and the release of Jacoby Myers. He said, I'm not coming in anymore.
PTO day.
Yep.
So who's going to play Paul today?
Well, I think
With
you guys
that
are because Evan's
reaction?
sitting in his seat with a Diet Pepsi, and you ordered a small pepperoni. So I feel like Paul is well represented.
Well,
already.
it takes more than one to represent him. You know, it's when I say large shoes, I mean no. I'm only kidding.
That's good though. He'll only have to listen to the first part of the show to know when we were making fun of him. Is that him?
Funnier.
So anyway, we've got a
I'm
lot to
scared.
talk about. The release of Jacoby Myers, the signing of Juju Smith-Schuster, stuff going around the league with Aaron Rodgers still not officially signed with the Jets yet. Yeah. All of that. We signed a running back from Jacksonville who looks to be a pretty good player. Yeah.
Bowling ball. Yeah. Looks Good.
And a lot of people are assuming that means the end of the Damian Harris era. Yeah. So we'll talk about all of it. So anyone want to just kick it off?
Juju.
Yeah.
Let's talk Juju.
You want to talk
Tamara.
Juju?
Say that Smith-Schuster 5 times
I
fast.
don't want to
Can
write
you do
it. Can we
JSS.
call-
Can you do it?
JSS. I'm on JSS.
Yeah.
I can't write Smith-Schuster.
Does he
out.
like to be called JSS, or are you making that up?
I don't know. I'm assuming he
name
doesn't
is
like to be
Juju.
called
Maybe
TikTok
not.
boy. So.
Yeah.
Juju.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I like the signing. I like him. I mean, I wasn't worlds familiar with Juju Smith-Schuster other than the name. Yesterday, just jumped in, started watching him. I mean, look, bottom line, he's better than Jacoby Myers. He's better than him. I mean, he's a talented receiver. He is a receiver. I love Jacoby, and it's hard for me to say this now.
Jacoby's a receiver. Come
He is,
on.
but he was a quarterback, and there's just something about him that was always. There's something about him that has just never, to me, looked like a full NFL.
You mean you didn't like him being the most reliable receiver for 2 years?
He was reliable, absolutely. But I look at Juju Smith-Schuster. This is a real deal wide receiver who can get catches, yards after the catch, who has played in big games, who has had. I mean, you line up their production, it's way more. Look, I have concerns about him. I'm not going to say that, this is a dream signing. They need to do more. But I think a one-for-one swap in terms of they're the same age. It's a good contract. He has a higher ceiling than Jacoby does. I think you factor all those things. I think they upgraded their offense with this move.
Of course, everything you're saying is true about same age, similar contract, all that stuff. But I think the zeitgeist out there is that it's a very lateral move. And if you're going to do that, why not keep the guy who knows the system, knows Mac Jones, and reward your own guy that you brought up as an undrafted.
It's a lateral move.
Reward the guy that you brought up as an undrafted free agent.
Production.
They talk about the Patriots can't develop wide receivers. They did, and then they get rid of them.
Yeah, but I still think that this is a move they had to make. And I'm going to be honest, like, there's not like, this is the perfect guy. Like, I've been saying all offseason, I want somebody who's quick on the inside. I don't really see Juju Smith-Schuster as a quick guy. But I think he can do what they need. And you look at his high-end production. Now, I know he hasn't gotten back to there, but he certainly had a productive year last year with Patrick Mahomes. And I know we'll talk plenty about, what's he going to do with Mac if this is what he did with Patrick Mahomes. But I just look at it, when you just watch this guy play, he's a better football player than Jacoby was, and I think ultimately that's the move they had to make. I think you saw what you were gonna kind of get out of Jacoby.
So you think it's an upgrade?
I do. I mean,
Evan, I know you think it's an upgrade.
Without question.
Okay, Tamara.
She has concerns too. Go ahead. Just say them.
I'm in between. Like I really like Juju because he's a former Steeler, obviously. And so I have been watching him since he was playing there with Big Ben, and I really liked how explosive he was, and he was a great addition to their offense, obviously. But I'm still kind of in the notion that, okay, Jacoby, like, I really liked him. He was reliable. He was consistent. He was a max guy, and I think we could have kept him and added other things. But I do think that the explosiveness that Juju brings is going to be electric for this offense, and I think that hopefully, Evan said he was pushing for someone who's going to get 1,000 yards, a season. I think that Juju could be that guy, but they still need to add more.
Alex?
I feel like I might be Paul today, like pessimistic Paul. I don't know. Well,
Somebody's got to do it.
I am on the record on this show saying I don't really want him to come here. Beyond the optics, of Judon last night tweeting at Juju's arch nemesis, beyond the optics of Jacoby tweeting, like one of the classiest players, Jacoby tweeting, he's very clearly salty, beyond it getting leaked out. Like, the money was so weird when it got leaked because it made it seem like it was the exact same contract as Jacoby too. That's like just strange to me.
I think Jacoby got more guaranteed according to, but then now they're saying Jacoby's deal is really kind of a one-year deal.
They got an out on it.
I don't know. I just feel like I don't love, like, I feel like we did the same thing with Aguilar, like give a guy money after his prove it deal.
Yeah.
And I don't love bringing in another player that was
He's
just
a better player than Aguilar.
For sure, but it's still just like we're in the, to me, we're in the same situation we were in. We're bringing now someone in who, like, I don't know Juju. I don't want to, like, on a personal level say anything about like his character or him being a distraction, but I've worked with Kendrick Bourne, and if Kendrick was an issue last year, why I don't get it.
I think it's all reasonable, and I mean, another confused thing just to put before I'm sure Evan jumps in, I just like the ball security. I think is a little bit of an issue with him, and you talk about Jacoby's reliability. Just a point maybe in Jacoby's favor as far as the argument goes. 3 fumbles, last year. It's just I mean that's something that you have to be aware of. I think is he going to have drops? Is he going to have ball security issues? That's a concern.
I mean, he had 3
he's been
drops
around
on
so
100
long,
targets.
like it's just
Jacoby's
the tail end of his career.
Jacoby's got great hands, so obviously he's not somebody that drops a lot of passes, but 3 drops on 100 targets is not exactly dropping the ball a lot.
Then
I mean, something we also didn't talk about 10 last year, Ramondre Stevenson lost the ball a lot, more than like we want. I mean, the whole team lost the ball more than they traditionally do. So I think that as a whole, everybody needs to tighten that up.
Yeah.
I think you just try to take it all in. I mean, it's not easy. We all love Jacoby, and I mean, it hurts when you see him. When he tweets cold world. I mean, you like the guy. You like the guy personally. You don't like the fact that the team.
It is a cold world.
Of course it is, but it doesn't make it right. It doesn't mean you have to enjoy it. You have to be like, oh, whatever. Goodbye, Jacoby Myers. But
well, did you hear Devin? What he said when they interviewed him on? I think it was
Devin was
EI.
shocked.
Yeah, he was
went on Greg
shocked,
Hill.
and he said, as far as I know, he wanted to be here. He wanted to stay.
Yeah.
This isn't the Boy Scouts. I'm just sick and tired. Like I hear it all the time about Jacoby. Oh, he's so reliable. He was such a great teammate. Does that win you football games? Does being a reliable, great teammate win you football games?
When was being reliable and a good teammate not good?
It's not that it's not good. It's just what does he do on the field? Like what's he put on tape? Like if you watch Juju and you watch Jacoby and you think that they're comparable players, then you're just not watching the same games that I am.
No, but I do think it's not just about what is on the tape. It's about what kind of fit is this person in our locker. I mean, I do think that those are issues when you're trying to build a team. It's not just, hey, this guy fits in perfectly as far as what our playbook is. It does. There has to be a locker room fit. And
I think so too.
I mean, I'm not going to say that is the biggest thing. And certainly, looking at Juju Smith-Schuster's body type and skill set and all those things, that when I look at those 2 players, I say this is more the direction they needed to go. I don't think it's a slam dunk. I still think they need a complementary, piece on the outside and another maybe tight end to, work in so that they have other targets. But I like the move. I don't like a lot of the moves they've made, but I like this one.
I'm not, ready to hand in my Homer card yet.
Yeah, I need to be sold.
I'm fine with Juju Smith-Schuster, but I like Myers, and I think he's getting a short he's getting a little disrespect here, I think, from a lot of Patriots fans
Yeah.
for what he, again, I said this on Tuesday. We talk about Mac Jones. Well, yeah, it was a bad situation with Matt Patricia and all that, but he's got to be a leader and he's got to rise above it and he's got to figure out a way to produce,
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what Myers did. That's exactly what he did.
I will say, for one point that we did talk about on Tuesday was Myers' speed and like his yards after catch. I do think when you do compare those two, Juju does bring it.
They're like the same
You
player
can't be
of
honest and
slot.
not agree with that.
Yeah.
You can't be honest and not agree with that.
If you said, I would describe Juju as, from a skill set standpoint, he's Jacoby Myers with the ability to run with the football.
There you go.
I think
and I don't
Jacoby's
know
a
why
better
that
route
would
runner.
be a bad
They're
thing.
like the same slot receiver, but one is like a better route runner and the other is Juju.
I just don't know about that. Like
Yeah.
I go watch Juju run whip routes against guys yesterday when I'm watching his film, and he's shaking guys out of his shoes just like Jacoby would, and then he's running with the football 15 yards down the sideline after the fact.
yeah.
And they just don't have that player in Jacoby Myers, and I go back to the same thing of I just don't know what do you guys want? Like what does the fan base want?
A plan.
Because
Honestly, just a plan. Have we had any since Brady has left? I don't know. I'm going to be pessimistic,
Okay.
Alex.
All
today.
right. That's all right.
but like, I'm sorry. Like, I agree. I understand where you're coming from totally. I really do. They're not going to tell you the plan. Okay, so there's
I don't
a
need
plan.
to know the plan. I just need to see that it's happening and in progress, and it's
Juju
not just
is
like
happening.
let's patch
Like,
this, let's patch
Juju
this.
is the number 2 receiver, and
I
there's
still think we're in the same place we were before, though.
Oh, does everyone
But it's
agree
not
that?
done.
Okay.
We're
Does
not
everyone
done.
agree that Schuster's here, but you need more?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do we all agree that the more has to be a wide receiver, or would we be okay with the more being a really good tight end?
I was interested in the report of they were reportedly talking to OBJ and Juju. I thought that was interesting.
And Jerry
Like,
Jeudy.
Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what are the thoughts if it was OBJ and Juju? Do you,
That'd be
do you
sick.
feel like you got better?
So they want OBJ. I'm just going to put it out
That'd be
there.
so sick.
They want Odell. They've wanted Odell for a couple years now. I think the biggest issue that they have with Odell is that Odell wants to play with a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Odell wants to play with somebody that's an established quarterback that can go out there and they can say, we're Super Bowl contenders. You know, Dallas is a team that's hot on Odell right now as well. I think he's always had a liking to maybe playing in Buffalo or Kansas City as well. You know, going to places where I can say I have an MVP caliber quarterback is important to him. But the Patriots were in on him last year at when he got released by Cleveland. They went to his workout this year. They've been in on him the entire time this year. So they would love to have him. I just think that, are they going to overpay to get over the fact that you're going to have to come here and prove it with Mac Jones versus going someplace where it's kind of a ready-made situation?
I will
for
say
you.
I'm wondering if they'll be able to get away with not paying him as much at least this first year until you make sure that he's ready to go. Because obviously they did go watch him work out in Arizona, but like you haven't seen him
Yeah, he's played
in
a year.
football.
Yeah, there's so many questions.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
so many questions. Like sure, we saw that he could run and all those things, but it's difference between doing that workout and actually being in football shape and playing in a game. So I'm wondering if maybe they can like first year give him a certain amount of money, and then if obviously if he produces, then give him more.
Yeah, I mean OBJ you talk about complimentary. He can play any wide receiver position. So he could be that outside guy. He could actually I've seen him line up in the slot and be successful. He can do it all. Where is he in his career? That's a question. It's a question.
I mean, he's still at 30? I mean, he's not,
Yeah.
it's not like, hey, we're talking about 36-year-old OBJ and trying to squeeze it out. I mean, I think you put those two guys together, you're really talking. And I don't think you can rule out, it makes Devontae Parker more useful. It maybe opens things up for Kendrick Bourne to do some stuff. You just have more options. I mean, I said to Evan, and we've had plenty of conversations about Quentin Johnston, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I at least look now and say, if you put him with Juju in this group, like, you kind of got maybe the makings of something there. It's a ways to go, and I think we're just starting to see them. They're starting to make some moves. I mean, obviously they, a couple other ones. Mac Wilson rolling in. I mean, those, re-signing, taking care of your own guys.
You got to do that too.
You got to do it, and I mean, to Alex's point of like, what's the plan? I don't love the fact that a lot of these guys are one-year deals, and you're just like, all right, we're going to just keep kicking the can down the road with guys like McMillan and Wilson, and and of course, a segment of the fan base is going to get intrigued with, all right, are they going to go more mobile? Last year when you had those two guys, everyone thought these grand changes, and now I don't know anyone's really expecting that. So I think that they're doing a pretty good job so far. But they still need that big piece. I'm not as depressed as I was Tuesday when it felt like the world was falling apart. But and I got to say too, I really like that they brought Jabril Peppers back. I know he's a personal favorite of mine, but I just like how he plays.
So the running back, what's his name?
Yeah, James Robinson.
James
Robinson. They paid him some, decent money.
2 for $8, I think.
Yeah.
It's not a real
Yeah,
eight.
I'm sure.
So his base value is 2 for $4.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think
the
that's
eight's incentives.
I think that's another one, kind of like OBJ, where you're kind of just hoping he gets back to prime form. Like James Robinson, when he came into the league, he had over 1,000 yards rushing as a rookie.
I think the Jags did
And
him
so-
so dirty too, in a way. Like
to be
I don't know.
fair, I mean, he was there when a certain coach was there. So
Right.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
it's like you want to put
Terrible
all the cards
situation.
on the table. It's like
Yeah.
he tore his Achilles. He had that person as a coach. Then he was dealing with some knee issues again. So I'm hoping that his potential turns into production.
And like Patriots fans get all riled up because every time they make a signing like him, the expectation is like the Patriots think he's going to be a starter. That's not always the case. We're going to have 90 guys in camp. Half of them aren't even going to make the team so this happens every year with every team where you're filling out that camp roster with guys who you take a shot on the guy. Maybe he is 100% back and can help.
Yeah.
And Ramondre can't go every single down. You want someone who can complement him. It's like we're not asking James Robinson to come out here and be the next Ezekiel Elliott in his prime. We're not expecting that.
Let him battle it out with Ty Montgomery.
And
all
Strong
the
and
young
Harris
guys,
Strong and
exactly.
Kevin Harris. What are they going to look like when they come back in year 2? I mean, neither one of them set the world on fire last year. So you need some of that depth. We always say it. They overstock the running back position. Somebody's going to get hurt too. You know it's going to happen.
Yeah, so every signing that you see during the offseason doesn't mean the Patriots expect this person to be a starter. A lot of it is, let's see what you do in camp.
Yeah. I think that's what's hard too, Fred, is that I get everybody's anxious about wanting to get the star players, and when they sign these kind of no-name guys, it's frustrating to people. But I mean, I'm gonna tee Evan up because I think that it's a good, you hit on gems that way. You have to kind of do that. Nobody cared when you brought Rob Ninkovich in as a long snapper, but I'm not saying that you can build an entire team that way, but you have to take those kind of chances on guys like Robinson, who's coming off an Achilles injury and didn't really have great production last year. And, Evan, I'll let you go on the tackle that they got from the Broncos, who was originally here, so they liked him. They got rid of him, early before training camp. But, it's guys like that. I know it's not sexy. I know it makes people mad. You haven't heard of the guy, but a guy who has some potential, and maybe you find a gem, and all of a sudden your left tackle is on a manageable 2-year deal, and now you're set. So I think you can't over criticize them about some of those moves. I think you have to make those kind of moves.
Absolutely. They always have, and they always will.
I feel like I'm in such a minority with those two, though, with James Robinson. And I love Juju. I love that signing. I'll admit I'm biased. I saw him play live at USC a bunch of times when I was out in LA, and I really love everything about his game. I thought he was a fit for here back in the 2017 draft, and they passed on him, and I was disappointed. I don't really like the James Robinson signing. I'm not going to lie. Coming off Achilles injuries, running backs, the track record there is very, very poor of guys actually being able to, at that position in particular, being able to bounce back from that injury. And I think that all the opportunity in the world at that position behind Ramondre should go to Pierre Strong. Every single snap in camp, every single touch that Ramondre doesn't get, I want to see Pierre Strong with the football because he's somebody that brings legitimate home run speed. Like a guy that can take a run and go 45, 50 yards with it to the house, like we saw in Arizona, for example, when he went down the sideline and nearly housed it. That's a guy that has something that they don't have, which is real speed.
Well, OTAs are going to start shortly. And then you're going to get into the May camps and everything like that, and they'll see Robinson, see where he's at, and he may not even make it to camp. Yeah. He may not, or he's back, and then all of a sudden there's legitimate competition, and you have to have competition within your team, to push guys.
What I worry about is that I agree with you 100% that it's a good piece to add for that purpose. But I think sometimes they lean on steady reliability, especially at that position, where I think that they need to get explosive guys. They need to get dynamic players that can make big plays. And yeah, maybe Pierre Strong isn't as polished or isn't as experienced as a guy like James Robinson. Might make some more mistakes that James Robinson might not make. But for every mistake, if he breaks one, that's something that they need on this offense.
I think what they really need, whether it's Pierre Strong or Ty Montgomery or whoever, they need that reliable out of the backfield pass catcher.
Yeah.
That's always been part of the Patriots offense. And, we talk about Bill O'Brien. That's always been part of, what he's done. So whoever that becomes, they need that person.
I agree with everything you said, and I still wonder if it is a priority for them. Like, I don't know. I'm open-minded about it because they drafted 2 guys last year. Neither one of them really. I know Pierre Strong can catch a little bit, but he's not that guy. They've had J.J. Taylor kind of kicking around. I don't know what they feel about him. They don't trust him in pass protection yet. He's been practice squad guy for 3 years. I'm just curious, because again, this Robinson signing, he's got a little bit of versatility to him, but he's not that receiving back either. So I don't know. It's just something that's on my radar. Are they gonna make an effort to get? We're watching these guys in the draft too. That could potentially be that kind of guy.
Well, look how many
as
times
well.
they threw to Ramondre Stevenson last year.
So that's
he was the last guy standing.
That's a great point, but
they did throw to the back.
And that's what I wonder if this evolution is like. They got to a point where they said, look, everybody knows when LeGarrette Blount's out there, we're going to run it, and when James White's out there, we're going to pass it. And that's what that's kind of what they were in those middle years. Maybe they said, look, we've just got to get a little bit more balance with some of these guys, and I think that's what you see in Ramondre, who was described to me, I think at the combine a couple years as a third down back, and I'm like, really? But Strong a little bit, this guy Robinson a little bit. They can all catch a little bit. So I don't know. We'll see. But I think I also look at the other tight end position with Jonnu gone. That seems like there's a spot there. Yep. What's that going to be? Is that going to be one of the rookies that we love? Or, I know they saw Gesicki was apparently at Toby Keith's or something last night. I don't know if that's true or not.
Really?
Somebody said I saw him at, there were a couple people saying that he started following the Patriots.
Is that a Logan Airport type situation?
That possibly could be. But the other part of it was that he started following the Patriots and Mac, and
he
Mac
was also
started
recruited to
him
Penn State by Bill O'Brien.
So there's a little bit of smoke there. So I don't hate it as but that's another thing I wonder is that, Bill O'Brien had Aaron Hernandez, and really, looked at that F tight end position as a weapon and as a piece that, to move around and take advantage of.
Don't say weapon.
Playmaker.
Playmaker, that's our new thing.
Don't say weapons. That's another place I wonder. Is Bill O'Brien, going to push for, let's get one of those kind of move tight ends, somebody that we don't really care if he can block, but can be a mismatch in one way or another.
Yeah.
I think they were hoping that might be Juju, honestly. Yeah. As a guy that's underneath the defense that can catch and run, that can move around a little bit. I think that he's sort of that a little bit of a new age in that position where he's more of like a power slot receiver instead of a true tight end. Like, you're not going to put TE next to his name, but he can sort of do similar things like that.
Little Jordan Humphrey, right?
Yeah.
He's no little Jordan Humphrey now.
Evan,
in a good way.
I was going to ask Evan, since he wasn't really fond of the James Robinson pick because he's not really bringing, I guess, the speed that he's looking for the offense. Would you have rather kept Damian, or would you have just moved on altogether? And not
I mean, I think that we talk about lateral moves. I think that's a lateral move, right? Is one guy that has an injury history versus another guy that gets banged up all the time, and they run a similar style. I think that Robinson has a little bit more upside in the passing game than what Damian brought to the table, but. No, I don't mind not keeping Damian and going with James Robinson. And I think that when the contracts come out and Damian eventually signs, he's going to get more money guaranteed to him up front in the open market than somebody like James Robinson. But it's more about, I would say, that they have this tendency, especially at the running back position, to hold back younger players at that spot. And you have to be really special. Ramondre, even his rookie season, he had some opportunity, but they didn't really give it to him until his second year. And we've seen so many guys just get redshirted that rookie year. And then there's other teams, and I'm not saying that the Patriots always do everything wrong, but other teams like the Chiefs, for example, have a rookie running back playing in the Super Bowl, making plays for them. And it's at some point in time,
what round was he too? What round?
The 7th, out of Rutgers, which makes too much sense, right?
Pacheco.
So. all those combinations of things, eventually you gotta give some of the younger guys a chance at that position. And I feel like sometimes they just retread these veteran players that, all right, he's not gonna fumble, he's not gonna blow an assignment in blitz pickup, he's gonna know where he's supposed to go when he gets the football, and like all that. That's all well and good, but does he make a difference? Is he a playmaker with the football?
And I think there's maybe that small risk of injury. Like, for example, what happened with Etienne in Jacksonville. It's like that rookie that, you are looking forward to him playing, like he barely lasted a month. And so I think it's a little bit of like you want them to get experience, but then you also are like you don't want them to like get an ACL tear the start of their rookie season, and then you're kind of
they just
a year
always
behind.
handle that position with kid gloves. I don't know what it is that they really feel so strongly that rookies cannot contribute, because it's early down backs like Damian and it's pass catching backs like James White. Like they do it with all of them.
Yeah.
And I just don't know why that is. It seems so simple to me, especially if you're going to make him a runner, not a pass catcher, not a guy that's going to have to block and things like that. Like, just hit the hole. Like, I don't know why that's so complex to learn and to pick up.
I think everything you're saying is true. I also have always just believed that they overstock that position with the anticipation that we're going to lose 1 to 2 of these guys at any given week.
And they do.
And let's just get into preseason, let's get a bunch of them. And, we'll let the competition play out. And, yes, in a perfect world, Pierre Strong, Kevin Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, that's your rotation. Maybe Ty Montgomery's your other back. But, Ramondre gets hurt week 2 in preseason, and you're like, oh, God. So I just think that position specifically is one to – you can never have too much depth.
Yeah.
This goes back to when Cordell Patterson had to play running back.
Right.
Or Steven Jackson.
Well, I mean, even this year, even this year when Damian got hurt and, and Ty Montgomery got hurt, and you're all of a sudden having to thrust those two guys, it's – and even then, to your point, like they were forced to do it, and it's it still didn't really pop. So those guys will be fun to watch.
You need a full stable because you're going to end up using him. It always happens that way. Other stuff around. I mean, we got to talk about Aaron Rodgers and that whole situation.
That whole situation.
Out of the darkness.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so funny.
He went into the darkness and he came out with the answer. I should go to the Jets.
I have a take on that. I have a take, by the way.
That whole situation, the Aaron Rodgers situation, it's like when you first start like dating someone and you like don't really know what you are, but like they're flirting with you, they're interested, you feel like they're interested, but you're like, what are we? Like, are we official? Are we like in the talking stage? That's what this is like. It's like, what are we? Like, you like me, I like you.
No, this is his ex-wife holding up the papers, and he can't move on with his mistress.
It's just
she won't settle for the divorce.
No,
okay, Evan.
No, but is he just waiting for them to show that they're going to sign all of his requests?
No, I think the Packers.
No, the Packers are the ones
the
holding
Packers
it up.
want like I think they want a first-round pick. I think they want.
They want more.
Yeah.
According to Aaron Rodgers, the Packers are holding it up for the compensation. They haven't worked out with the Jets what the Jets are willing to give them for the rights to Aaron Rodgers, according to Aaron Rodgers.
What's your darkness take? I got it.
Yeah. So he comes out of the hut and he says, "I want to be a Jet."
Had a vision.
Why the Jets? Because he's such an egomaniac. He couldn't go to a team that is a good team. That was a good team.
He needs to be the savior.
He needs let's just say the Patriots were, Bill's love of Aaron Rodgers manifested into an offer. He couldn't come here because he'd be forever,
Yes,
compared to Tom Brady, and he'd never be as good. Yeah. But with the Jets, who haven't won a Super Bowl since '69 and haven't even been to one since then,
it's a low bar
for the team. There's only one place to go, and so he's not going to be compared to Chad Pennington. It doesn't matter. So he'll be the guy, the best one since Joe Namath, and so that I'm positive that's part of his thinking.
Yeah.
Is like, that safety net for his ego.
Plus, but I mean, it's a good team too. There's certainly things that are appealing,
it's definitely a good
even
team.
without his
I'm scared
list.
Now that they have him, I'm terrified.
But
I don't think
but
he's
he doesn't
that
care.
deep.
He cares about him.
It doesn't matter.
He cares about him and his own perception.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, with the Jets, there was no Tom Brady. There was no, good quarterback who I'm succeeding and have to live up to that. It's my own thing here, and
Yeah, I totally believe it. I
Him
mean,
toe to toe with New York media next year. I can't wait.
Oh, but that part he'll like because
yeah, it's gonna exactly. It
Yeah.
plays into exactly your point.
he loves screwing with the media and jousting with them and being smug and all that. I don't think he's going to have any problem there. What he cares about is the public perception of himself. We've seen that, and
yeah,
the Jets are the perfect place because he'll get the money, he'll get the notoriety if it works out, and he doesn't have to worry about living up to a predecessor.
And even if it
Or a
doesn't
team
work,
success. Like I said, they haven't been to the Super Bowl since '69.
even if it doesn't work out, I don't think that anybody's going to hate on Aaron Rodgers for it.
no,
right?
right.
Unless-
It's a Jets.
That's
What are you
yeah.
gonna do?
Yeah.
unless
Just
he's
another
absolutely
punchline.
awful, I guess. But I just find it interesting too that he gave this list of players he wants to play with, and they already have Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson, and Garrett Wilson is a heck of a receiver. And now he's like, oh, let's get Alan Lazard, let's get Odell. It's like, I mean, I get that you want more help, but can you get some don't make Aaron Rodgers a GM because now all of a sudden these guys are running the same routes. Garrett Wilson's already a big slot receiver, and then you sign Alan Lazard, who's also a big slot receiver. It's
And
like
OBJ, who's kind
Yeah,
of a
and-
slot
and,
receiver.
and
like,
again,
what are we
according
doing?
to Rodgers, it wasn't demands. It was just simply a wish list.
Yeah.
That's all. So he said that yesterday again on McAfee's show that, Diane Rossini and she didn't say it was
I know.
she didn't say it was a demand either.
Poor girl.
So he made it
least
seem like
she
she
didn't
was
get the Schefter
characterizing it a
treatment.
wrong way when she wasn't. So I mean, I think he did kind of agree that he did give them some names.
Lose my number.
Lose my number.
Yeah.
Does it make you look any differently at Brady's departure here? Like that was what I was just thinking as I'm watching Aaron Rodgers, being like, Jesus, thank God Brady wasn't going on some podcast, just like, saying all the things he was saying, and I mean, there's acrimonious divorces, but I felt like in hindsight, the Patriots one was, pretty, like, at least on the surface. I know everybody wants to dig deep and what did they really feel, but at least on the surface, it was.
I do
cordial.
wonder how many other teams, were interested in Rodgers and expressed that interest to him or his agent.
Why
I'm
should the-
sure a ton. 'Cause, like,
I don't know.
A ton of teams needed.
We haven't heard about
quarterbacks.
it,
He was
though.
asked. He just gave like a very vanilla answer on Pat McAfee.
What did he say?
I think he said there were some other teams, and then he just moved on.
Yeah.
I'd have to
Surprised
read
that
everybody
say
thought the
lots.
line would be long for Brady, and honestly, it wasn't that long.
Well, and
So
that's why I bring that up.
Yeah.
And we didn't see anything like this from Brady because I don't think he had a lot of suitors.
Yeah.
I think he was so damn grateful for Tampa Bay wanting him and giving him, I think it was $25 million or something like that. I mean, that's why he was all in from day one when he went to Tampa, because he was really grateful that they wanted him.
Yeah. I mean, I asked Paul yesterday straight up. I was like, do you think there's a chance that the Patriots are, like, behind the scenes interested in Aaron Rodgers? Because I just think with those kind of players, I've always felt Bill has a special respect for those kind of generational players. And, you can just see it on his face. Bill don't have a lot of time left. Like, it's just like there's some logic behind this move of like, hey, just go get Aaron Rodgers. Like, I mean, Paul didn't really seem to think so. Lamar, maybe that could be a behind the scenes kind of thing, but it was just, I don't know. I wouldn't have been 100%. I would have been very shocked, but not 100% shocked if they're like, out of nowhere, the Patriots swooped in. I mean, just based on Bill's time frame, it would make sense.
I feel like Lamar
So-
makes more sense for that
That's what I was going to ask.
theory because at least he's young. So even if Bill retires in 3 years, you still have
Yeah.
a quarterback. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, sure. No,
it's
fair.
not like there's an expiration date on both your head coach and your quarterback at that point.
Would you pay Lamar? Would you ever
would
see
I
them?
or would we?
Yeah.
That's a
Evan
different
tomorrow,
question.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, I would. But like, would you ever see the Patriots behind closed doors offering that much money to a quarterback?
I mean, they're going to have to at some point if they're lucky enough to find that guy to pay, and that's the weird thing about it. It's on one hand like, oh my gosh, would they? Well, guess what? If they find that guy, they're going to have to at some point.
I think, doesn't any smart team want to be in the situation where you have a guy that's that good? I mean,
Clearly not the Ravens, because what are they doing right now?
well, they did.
They have all the leverage.
Well, but let's put it, even I think Lamar revealed that he did turn down a pretty hefty offer from them.
Yeah.
It was
like
like
3 years,
133
like
million
all
with like
guaranteed
90
something.
million guaranteed or something
What's
like that.
Deshaun Watson's?
His is more,
So
but
is
only
Kyler's.
because
So is Daniel Jones now.
Watson's is more because overall, because I think it was 5 or 6 years.
5.
Okay.
But when you break down the first 3 years, they were about the same.
Okay.
But I think that's where Jackson is, myth, because they only want to give me 3 years.
I also don't. I'm like intrigued that he doesn't have an agent.
That's what I was just gonna say.
His mama, his agent.
She's a counter. I'm going to counter this one. I mean, it is surprising to me, especially like having worked in a
I
talent
hope she's
agency.
getting a good cut from this.
Kind of seeing what the
she is,
what the negotiations are like, what the back and forth is like, what the context is that the agents know. I mean, obviously, there's a part of it too where the agents have interest in this as well because they're going to get a commission and then they're going to be able to base other deals off of this. But I don't know. It would be really hard to do that as a player and to negotiate.
The legal jargon is so complicated.
And they have to be straight up with you. Like, this is what we really think about you as a player, and this is why we're offering what it is. And sometimes it's better to have that go through a buffer.
Just because he doesn't have an agent doesn't mean that he won't have a lawyer when it comes it comes time to sign.
Advising, hopefully advising him. But I mean,
hopefully.
It's probably going to be the thing where they're going to say, all right, whatever, 4 years, XXX, this much guaranteed, yes or no. And then it's the finer points that you got to let the lawyer go to work on and figure out where their outs are and, all that kind of stuff that teams try to put into contracts so that, they're not on the hook forever.
But I think Lamar's situation is intriguing because you don't hear of anything. And I know one of Paul's shows, is accusing the league of collusion. I'm not saying that collusion is beyond the owners, but in this particular case, I don't see why they would collude.
It's
a hefty charge.
The argument is that Deshaun Watson's contract is something that the owners never want to see again. A fully guaranteed quarterback contract for over $200 million.
The precedent.
The precedent that it's set is tough because Lamar's sitting there saying, I'm a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson. I win more. I won an MVP. I'm better than him. So why am I?
And I have no off the field
issues.
no
controversy.
So why am I only getting 3 for 133 when you got double that?
But that's short of collusion. I mean, they can be pissed off at Haslam for doing that deal and saying I wouldn't do that deal, and that could be the consensus among the owners. But I don't think it requires collusion to have that opinion.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody said that was a terrible deal.
Yeah.
You don't need to collude to come up with that conclusion.
I just think if you're Baltimore, you have all the leverage. You have the franchise tag. Yep. It's a bargain to franchise tag him, which you really have all control in that situation. If you do tag him, you can even tag him again next year, and it's still a bargain. So it's just like there's really no incentive, especially for the style of quarterback that he is, for the Ravens to give him 5 years with $200 million guaranteed. Like, they don't have to.
I'm going to be so intrigued when it comes time for Joe Burrow to get this because it is going to be wild.
And that's a historically cheap team.
And they just paid Orlando Brown, though. So that was, an interesting.
That's true.
An interesting move.
They just made him the highest offensive lineman ever.
I don't know.
I don't know ever, but right now in the league, right?
But like Joe Burrow, he's worth a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
There's no way that you could look at him and be like, oh, I'm gonna.
And I mean, to re-hit a point I keep hitting the last few weeks, it's like at least with him, I feel like he's 9 times out of 10 going to be upright for the whole season and is going to be, it's going to have us in the
when he had an ACL.
That way, we got that out of the way. But there's always one.
Facts get in the way.
There's always one ACL year with the quarterbacks. You get that ACL year, right?
He got it done early.
Facts get in the way of a good argument.
But he came back from that and proved that he's still able to
he's the real deal.
Yeah.
And when you have a guy like Burrow or Lamar Jackson or Tom Brady, you don't just factor in the play. You factor in the marketability. How many jerseys is he going to sell for us? What can he do for our franchise?
Look at those their TikTok numbers of just any video they post of that man.
They literally could post a picture of him.
We're in our content and marketing meeting. I have to say this. And I'm just watching all these men talk about the Bengals do this and the Eagles, look at their numbers on their arrival videos. And all the girls are just sitting in the back that's because it's Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts. They're posting thirst traps.
Right.
Literally, I think if you analyzed their followers, it's probably a lot more women than you think. And not because it is because they like football, but also because looking at
half
them
of my algorithm is girls that don't watch football talking about Joe Burrow.
This is the antithesis of Evan right here.
Yes.
Evan knows that he has to be quiet because he fanboyed over Josh Allen in the tunnel.
That's true.
Fanboy.
Yeah.
He would have liked that.
I gave
Bradley
Josh
Cullen.
Allen a compliment one time, and now
throw those ball over the mountains over there.
Worst mistake of my life.
No, it wasn't the compliment. It was
He
talking about it in the
never
meeting the
lived
next
it
Monday
down.
about how nice he was.
El from Wisconsin
I
says
hated
he
how
has a
nice he
gripe
was.
with me. His gripe is the way I talked about the start of free agency at the end of last show.
Oh.
He says, you mentioned that we go through this all the time. Team doesn't do much. Fans freak out, rinse and repeat. The difference is that in those days, we had the GOAT at quarterback and made the AFC Championship every year. The team didn't really need to get much better. Now, the team needs to drastically improve. The Patriots are staring down a potential fourth-place divisional ranking and can't fill all the holes in one draft. So, yeah, I'm worried. And I don't trust Bill to do what's necessary. To me, you haven't got any better. Juju for Myers is a wash, and signing to mid-level right tackles for Wynn is also kind of a wash.
What date is it? Is it March 16th or,
Yeah,
or
March
is it
16th.
September
Yeah.
16th?
That's the
I don't
thing,
know.
yeah. So, like,
I'm just-
listen, don't forget what I predicted last year's record was going to be 8-9. Okay,
Nailed it.
Fred the Homer, Fred the Homer. So, like, I read the writing on the wall.
Right.
But right now, let's see what they're going to do.
We're
Right.
just pre-mad.
Right.
That's,
Yeah.
We're
and
pre-mad.
I think
Exactly.
that that's the part that gets me agitated is because we're 4 days into this, guys. It's
And
4 days in.
Also,
Relax.
the implications of the what's going on in the division
Yep.
right now. That
Yeah.
is like honestly, if that Aaron Rodgers video doesn't happen yesterday, if he's not going to the Jets, like I'm probably like, cool, Juju. Like content's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Like we can't.
No, listen, that scares me. The Jets defense and Aaron Rodgers with now Hall, not hopefully. I hope he's not healthy, but no, I'm only kidding.
Jeez.
But Hall
Such a
back,
homer.
After his injury, and they're going to be good.
Yeah.
They're going to be good. They should be good. But they're the Jets. They could screw it up.
Would you put
but
them over
they,
Miami?
They should be good.
Would you say put them
yes,
over Miami
I
right
put
now
them as
with
number
Aaron
2
Rodgers?
right now on
Yeah.
paper.
Who?
The Jets.
The Jets.
It's Bills, Jets, Miami, and us. Now, we could be better than Miami. That's a possibility as we sit right here now, because we don't know what we don't know what Tua's. He could be out in week 2.
Yeah.
So that's a big if for them. So we could actually, as we sit here right now, be better than Miami.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder, I totally get what he's saying. Like, and Evan's so right. We're pre-mad. We just assume that they're gonna, And I said my piece earlier about you do have to do some of this stuff, but like, just what is your view on 2021? Like, they went hog wild in 2021, and we were all so excited, and
That's what I'm saying.
it was okay.
What's the plan?
It was okay,
Yeah.
So the bottom line for me is that I don't think you were going to surpass the Bills in the first 4 days of free agency. Like, it's just that's not going to happen. That's
a great way of putting it.
Like you have to be methodical. You have to think about where the Patriots really are, and I said it going into free agency. I'm not overly enamored with we could go get player X, Y, and Z, and then we're there. It's it's a lot of these kind of guys like Juju Smith-Schuster that you're like, okay. But at the end of the day, I think it's all about development of the draft picks and nailing this draft again. And you find a couple guys who can contribute. I think you're seeing the roster kind of come together, that you have, a manageable starting point where you have every kind of hole generally filled, not to the height you want it, but get to the draft, get those guys, add some talent, add 2 or 3 guys that can come in immediately and contribute. Then you're starting to talk about a young team on the upswing with a young quarterback. That's where you want to be. Not, wow, we went out and overpaid again for all these free agents, and yeah, we won 10 games again in 2023, but it really wasn't that good, and now half of them are, were busts, and we're gonna have to get rid of those guys in 2 years, like we did with Jonnu. Those kind of things. It's
That's
about
the
the
plan.
draft for me.
I know that everybody wants to see a more aggressive plan, but to me, looking at what they've done in free agency so far, the plan is let's plug all of the depth that we need in all these other places, line, running back, bring back all of our defensive players that we like that fit the system, and therefore when we put the cherry on top, we have all of the other foundational elements already in place. Now they're still searching for the cherry. I get that, but if you got to be able to build out the rest of the roster too. And I think in free agency, that's where you can really find value in free agency, is making sure that you maintain your depth in certain areas, maybe make some marginal upgrades like Juju and Jacoby Myers, and you're not going to win a Super Bowl by winning free agency. It's never done that way. And they did it a couple of years ago because they had the money to spend, and there was a market correction with COVID, and it ended up working out for them in the short term. But here we are again 2 years later, and we're still in the same spot that they were in 2021. So free agency is not the place that you make these big moves to move the needle. Those guys don't make it to free agency. They get traded or they get re-upped by their own teams. Who in the market right now has moved at wide receiver? DeAndre Hopkins is still a Cardinal, right? Jerry Jeudy's still a Denver Bronco. Like, there's been no big trade. Like, T. Higgins is still in Cincinnati.
Well, actually, I just saw that Braxton Berrios signed with Miami.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge.
My goodness.
I thought it was
How
going to
could
be
we miss
here.
out
I
on
walked,
that?
you,
was
I walked you
mentally
right into that
preparing.
one, didn't I?
Yeah.
But until those things happen, I think that all this hysteria is premature. Until they decide to pass on it, all this receiver movement and the real receiver movement, not the Jacoby Myers and Juju Smith-Schusters, but the DeAndre Hopkins trades. Like, until they pass on those, if we get in here the Tuesday after the draft and this is how the team looks, then have at it. Like, then it's open season. But we got a long way to go.
I love how
Totally
Berrios is
fair.
rattling around the AFC East.
I know, he can't get
He'll be
out
a
of it.
Bill before long.
I
Yeah.
mean, but he played in Miami,
It's
right?
just like
so
Yeah.
it's
I
just
mean,
like Riley. He played on like three
Yeah.
NFC North teams. Like, he's just been
Yeah.
floating around.
Yeah.
Yes, he seems like he fits in the Miami culture. He's got, a good-looking dude. Seems like doesn't he date somebody's sister or something?
He dates Olivia
sister.
Coppolo's
Yeah.
little sister. So
Oh, really?
So he's like, it's funny. He's like living the B-level Danny Amendola. He's like the B-level Danny Amendola
Yeah.
out there, like, but
Wingman.
the wingman.
All right, 855-PATS-500
Everybody
is the
needs a
Ace Ticket
goose.
hotline. Webradio at patriots.com is the email address. Let's get to the phones. Eldred's in North Carolina. What's up, Eldred?
There it is.
Oh,
Hey, ladies.
Hey, Eldred.
Gentlemen, how y'all doing?
Hey, ladies.
All right. Hey, Evan,
Yes, sir.
I hate that Juju move. I watched Juju with the Steelers because my brother's a diehard Steeler fan. And when Brown left, they thought he was going to take over. He didn't take over.
Eldred, what happened to Big Ben
Get him,
when,
Eldred.
when AB left? Oh, come on!
What
Like,
happened?
he's with washed Big Ben. We're gonna judge him on that.
But
The guy couldn't
I
even
see
move.
The passes he should have
you
been
could argue
thrown.
that about his
I
whole
see
career.
him what you call, but he just wasn't that guy.
He's always banged
I'd
up.
rather kept Myers, like you said, everybody, because he's a homegrown. And I know he didn't move the needle like everybody say, but at least he did move the yard markers most of the time.
Did he?
And he was your most reliable receiver. So,
Eldred,
at the same
I'm
kind of
surprised. I'm
Me too.
surprised in you.
Me
Because
too.
I
I'm
feel
disappointed.
like you
I'm not
like.
surprised, I'm
I feel like you
disappointed.
want real guys like Jude. Like, and I'm not saying that. Like you said,
I
he was.
do.
He
I
wasn't
do, but
Antonio
like-
Brown. I'm not, and I don't think any of us are saying he is. But I'm just surprised because I think he does bring a little bit more juice to the offense. And I know. I mean, I know he's not going to be the guy for us, and that's what you want. But I am a little surprised.
Yeah, but see, that's what everybody keeps saying, the middle of the field. But don't you think the defenses know that? Because we still ain't got nobody on the outside yet.
It's
They
coming.
took the H out of the defense yet. That's my concern. But
That's all I can
like
do.
the rest of the league, like the rest of the fans,
Do you have to go write something?
we see.
No, not yet.
I know Gilmore's old, but you got a fifth round and you went to Dallas, and you got a third round for Ramsey. Those two could be your two starting corners, just like we did with Reeves and not Reeves, but Reeves and the other guy.
Browner.
And then just to start off, instead of doing Bryant and doing Jones, who ain't a number one corner, they five, they short, they can't run with nobody. Saw that last year.
Yeah.
So that's one of the headaches that we see.
But I think that's
Just
what they're
understand.
doing with all these depth moves, is that they're setting themselves up for when the draft comes around. Maybe it is Joey Porter Jr. in the first round. Maybe it is, somebody like Quentin Johnston or another receiver that they really like, Zay Flowers, whatever. Name the guy. Because now they're setting themselves up where, okay, we have all these other pieces.
Don't have to.
We don't have to chase that. We don't have to overdraft a guard again because we just don't have a guard to play in a game tomorrow. They could play a game tomorrow.
Yep.
Would they be the best team in the league? Certainly not. But they don't have any glaring, they need a body here type of holes.
Yeah.
And so now we get to the draft and we can go chase the high-end talent.
I'm with you totally on that.
One more question.
All right.
What y'all think about? I think it was Riley Riff. I think ain't he the left tackle for the Bengals that we supposed to sign?
Nah, I think he's probably gonna have to stay on the right side if he's old,
Veteran experience.
I mean, but
Yeah.
sounds like he's a leader. I don't know.
Yeah.
That contract surprised me a little bit just because he's near the end of the line. But I think that they've established. I mean, you got 6 tackles now. When you bring Kajus back, you got Calvin Anderson. You signed Reef. You brought Connor McDermott back. So I mean, they, like to Evan's point, they got some depth there. They got some competition. Do they have a number 1 left tackle, the future guy? No. But who knows if one of those guys, Paris Johnson's sitting there. Yeah. All right, we don't have to reach for him, but if he's there, we can take him.
Thanks, Eldred. Let's go to Willem and Philem. What's up, William? William, you there?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
There he is.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. Yeah. Oh, what's up?
No, I had it on mute for a second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm here at my work, at my job and whatnot. So
don't get fired.
The whole phone.
Stupid.
But
job.
anyway, I'm just get right to it. I cannot. You got TikTok boy, Jesus.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay,
That was great.
Okay, I'm trying to get this out. All right, Evan. I'm gonna say it like this: Is he better than Jacoby Myers? Absolutely, yes. But you got to also deal with
no buts.
too at the same
It's a
time.
football team. It's not the Boy Scouts.
Hold on, I can't hear him.
I don't know if he is he better than Jacoby Myers? Yes. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. He is better than Jacoby Myers. But my concern also with him though, Evan, is I hope he don't do no dances and stuff. I mean, that's going
Bring it on.
mess the team up basically, or jump into somebody's end zone, do some old nonsense, and then the other team on the other side is ready, knock him on the sideline. You know what I'm talking about.
Why are we afraid of that? Isn't that
why am I afraid? Are you
go
serious?
catch a touchdown on Buffalo and go dance on that dang logo and shove it in their faces? Like have some
and then
attitude,
go tweet
man.
about him after the game and start a 3-day
William,
long.
they don't have
altercation.
anybody that has any type of alpha energy like that.
Is that Alpha a social media star?
Evan, he's in New England. He's nowhere. He's not with the Steelers or anybody else. He's in New England. You think Bill gonna play a lot of that nonsense? I don't think so.
Yes, I think he is.
Right?
I would kill to be in that conversation.
I don't think Bill will tolerate disrespecting other teams.
I'm not asking him to disrespect.
Well, you
other
just said
teams.
dance on their logo.
Yeah.
So, like when
teams don't like
tweeting
that.
at AJ Brown.
Have you
Good.
noticed?
It would be good to have somebody around that teams don't like playing against.
So
that's different.
Yeah, like
that's different.
when Sauce beat the Packers and put the cheese head on top of his head, that's wild. There's no way Bill would allow that.
Yeah.
And my last thing is this, and I'll leave it at this. And I just want to address Evan a little bit with this, and I know Paul ain't there. I know how y'all kind of hard on the fans. You thinking like, well, what do the fans want, this, that, third? So let me speak a little bit for the fans. I'm not going to go all in with it, but, we're not stupid and dumb, okay?
I didn't say you were stupid or dumb.
But I know you did.
Paul did.
I'm going to get to it, okay? But, I just want you to understand, what do the fans want? You have Eldridge calling for a wide receiver or myself. You have Claire calling for a tight end. You have other callers calling in for whatever. So we kind of know what we would like to have for the team. I mean, we're worried because of the fact you got to deal with Josh Allen. You might have to deal with Aaron Rodgers. You better hope that we ain't got to deal with Lamar going to Miami or Tom Brady coming back, this quarterback, right? And they tearing us up, and we at the bottom of the list. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be patient, like you were saying, Evan. We're gonna see what Bill going to do. But right now, for what I'm seeing right now, I ain't liking what I'm seeing. But the Juju thing, that's okay. But those right tackles, those little depth charts y'all got the back there, Nah.
Okay. All right.
You got Mac Jones. Okay. You got.
I hear you, William, but they don't play games on March 16th. All right. We got some time. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody or anything like that. It just shows a little bit of patience. That's all I'm asking for.
Let's go to Christian in Boston. What's up, Chris with a TIAN?
Hey, Freddie. What's happening, everybody?
How you doing? Hey, and by the way, if you put your brain power to it, we can figure out how to get rid of the telephone poles. We can figure it out.
Look, that's why I'm calling. 2.5 shows, and there's no update on your proposal to eliminate all telephone
It's working its way through the legislature. It's working its way through the legislature.
How does a bill become a law?
Well,
right.
that's not a good sign.
Yeah, I know.
You can't get any slower than the legislature.
I know.
Is this a private conversation? What are you guys talking about?
No, I proposed a 30-year plan on Twitter to remove all telephone poles in the United States.
I like it. I don't think they're dangerous.
Put them in the ground?
They're dangerous. Yeah. They're dangerous.
I hit one in East Dallas.
They're easy to hit. Every time there's a storm, there's outages. Let's bury them.
Right near the old...
Yeah.
drive-in theater
Very,
in East
very
Dennis.
difficult.
Boom.
Very difficult proposal.
It's difficult, but it can be done.
Bury him.
Yeah.
On to more important items.
I don't think there's anything.
We'll save that one for a few weeks.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to need it in like June.
Table
All right.
I am worried about sort of this whole dynamic and what and I wanted to get what you guys thought on it about the locker room and whether Jacoby was quote, there's a theory out there for him as one of these quote group of five in that group of five that was during the season that was causing an issue. And if that was a factor in this, like, yeah, Juju's a better player, but not by much. I mean, I don't think you're going to get a guy here that's going to help you win games. You're going to get a guy that's going to help you move the chains. But I don't know if you got a guy that's going to help you win games. I don't, and that's what they need. They need a guy that can help them win games. And Fred, I'm with you off the top. Like, they haven't drafted and developed anybody realistically since Deion Branch. I guess you could throw Malcolm Mitchum in there if you want, but here you have a guy who you knew fit your system, who you knew understood your system, who last year, in the midst of a dumpster fire of an offense, actually produced in what we all agreed was like the worst offense they've had in years. And he just let him walk.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm coming from. It's frustrated, but I am curious to see what you guys think on the whole thing with the locker room dynamic and stuff.
Who are the other?
Thanks, Christian.
Four of this Felger and Maz.
All
Who the- They make shit up all
I
the
don't.
time.
What's the language?
I can't say that.
I mean, I disagree with him. I disagree with the point that he's not going to help you win games. I mean, I think you can see plenty of plays that he's made where he catches the ball, he breaks the tackle, he pulls away, and it's a big play. I just think that he's a better player. And I know that it's not exactly what everybody wants, but I do think it's a worthy upgrade. And, I'm not really trumpeting anything else they've done. I think they're solid moves, but this is one that I think they made an upgrade on the team. And it's just hard. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you need? Like, it just feels like everybody just clamoring for stars, and that's the only way to do
God
it.
forbid.
Is to sign star players. That's it. That's the only way we get out of this is if we sign stars in free agency. And I mean, I'm like speaking for myself. I don't know if people realize like how ridiculous social media is during this period. Like people are relentless about at us. Like we have anything to do with it.
I actually
not
made
complaining.
I actually made a TikTok about that.
But it's just like, guys, like, oh my gosh, how long have we been doing this? I mean, I have been doing this for what, 2006. I mean, 17 years. I've been following every moment of the Patriots, and like, come on, like we know how this goes. I know sometimes they go crazy in free agency, sometimes it's more reserved, but based on where they are and where they need to go, I think it's more about the draft and developing guys than it's going to be about these big splashes in free agency.
All right,
Speak
we're gonna
real
take
quick his question about like the locker room thing and Jacoby being a problem in the locker room. That's the most impossible thing to envision.
The only thing I can't say is just like, well, then why is Kendrick Bourne still here? Because Kendrick Bourne was apparently one of those guys who was talking to. So if they're on a purge to get rid of anybody who said poor of the Matt Patricia offense, then where else is the example?
It was very visible.
I'm actually surprised. Like I thought that I had no idea about that take that one of Paul's shows had. Did I do it right?
Now I want to know who else.
But
is
I actually kind of feel like it's the opposite.
Exactly.
From what the opinion was of these guys that have been leaders in this locker room. They haven't really won anything. They haven't really been great on that side of the ball. And I think they're trying to get some new energy, some fresh perspective. And I also think we've talked about it a lot, Mike. Some of these guys like Ramondre, like some of these guys are more quiet, more reserved people, and they don't necessarily have that big energy to them. I actually think that that's more about that than it is about them being problems. And I don't think they were problems. No. I just don't think they looked at the last 3 years and they said, what did we really accomplish in the last 3 years with this core, with this group of players?
And also, Jacoby wouldn't have won the award, the media award. Yeah. Like, if he was really a problem in the locker room. Like, he was always...
Well, that's voted on by us.
But I'm saying he was still, like, great to talk to, win, loss. I mean, even after his Raiders game situation.
It's not... I think his teammates loved him. So that wasn't the problem. I think he said things that irked the coaches.
The only thing that he said was when Matt got pulled for, him blinking on his name, for Zappy. When he got pulled for Zappy, he said he was shocked. Like, he was shocked that happened when it happened because everyone was booming and stuff. That's the only thing that I heard him say. And, like, it's the truth. We were all shocked.
I know.
That you don't say that. You don't say that publicly. You don't say it because it causes problems. And he said some other things earlier before the season about the offense a little bit. He said some. Listen, I love to. It's great to hear guys that speak their mind, but that's not the Patriot way. Not publicly. I don't think there's any. I think Bill wants to hear from people, but inside. Keep our stuff inside. Can
I make one more point? Like, I also just feel like if me and Evan were on the side of, but he knows the system for a guy, that we'd be getting killed.
Right?
Like, that is why you
I'm
get
so
killed.
shocked
Well, he knew
that
the
we're
system.
hearing
Like,
this.
people are saying, well, he knew the system. I'm like, don't we need more
He's
than
a
knowing the
good
system?
Well, the
teammate, and he
system might
knew the
change
system,
anyway.
The system
and
will
He was a
absolutely
homegrown talent
change.
all the way to 800 yards every. Like what do we say?
I'm
What are we
imagining me
doing?
making that argument to Paul, but Paul, he knows this. Like, he would be like,
Right.
he would go crazy.
All right, we're gonna take a break. Food's here. When we come back, more calls and emails here in Patriots Unfiltered.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Bass Pro Shops, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including Six String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar. Watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G Ultra Wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G Ultra Wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Patriots fans, you'll want to check out the replay on this one. Pat the Patriot is stealing the show tonight with his Bank of America mobile banking app.
That's right, folks. So here we see Pat cheering, and then whammo! Is that Bank of America life plan?
Looks like he's saving up for some big future moves. Planning the next vacay, huh, big guy?
And wait, now he's paying back his buddy for concessions using Zelle? No penalty there. Incredible!
No way! As if that double move wasn't impressive enough, now he's beefing up his account defense with security meter? Holy cannoli, what a performance!
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Patriot fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking. You must be enrolled in online banking or download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Bass Pro Shops, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including Six String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar. Watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G ultra wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G ultra wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
There's no season better than football season, and there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week, so head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Patriots fans, you'll want to check out the replay on this one. Pat the Patriot is stealing the show tonight with his Bank of America mobile banking app.
That's right, folks. So here we see Pat cheering, and then whammo! Is that Bank of America life plan?
Looks like he's saving up for some big future moves. Planning the next vacay, huh, big guy?
And wait, now he's paying back his buddy for concessions using Zelle? No penalty there. Incredible!
No way! As if that double move wasn't impressive enough, now he's beefing up his account defense with security meter? Holy cannoli, what a performance!
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Patriot fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking. You must be enrolled in online banking or download the latest version of the mobile banking app only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Bass Pro Shops, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including Six String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar. Watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G ultra wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G ultra wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
And now, great moments in history.
P.S. I was hoping you guys could send me some good luck. I'm a writer in progress and have just sent off a submission that, if accepted, may get me my first novel. Keep your fingers crossed for me. Well, we will. Absolutely.
I know what you're going through, Claire.
Claire from West... You don't know what she's going through.
I do. I'm trying to get a book published. I know what that is like.
It sounds like she sent it off. It's like in
Yes.
the works.
No, she said she sent it off. Like she's trying to get it published.
Oh, well.
Unless I'm misunderstanding what she's saying.
Yeah. Well, hers is finished.
Yeah, so's mine.
It is?
That's why I'm trying to get it published.
The Africa one?
Yes.
This is a long time ago, right?
That's another great moment from...
All right. Back here at Patriots Unfiltered, 855 past 500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Webradio@patriots.com is the email address.
That's such an optimistic email from Claire, and as like a former writer sending off submissions of like, I just sent off my first submission, and if it all goes well, I'm like,
Right.
do you know how many people have had that thought and
Oh,
it
yeah.
actually happened that way? It's a tough one.
Yeah, it is. Some of the emails, webradio@patriots.com. The natives are restless. Rich in Hamden, Connecticut says he's mad at Evan.
Good.
He says, so he says Boy Scouts don't win you Super Bowls, but TikTok and bad guys win you Super Bowls? Please. This will turn out to be a mistake. Mark my words. We had a bad locker room vibe last year, and now you add this guy who thinks he's the star on a team of, let's face it, not many stars. Doesn't liking your own player count for anything anymore?
No. But also, was he like that in Kansas City? Was he overshadowing Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce in Kansas City? I didn't get
I barely
that
knew
vibe.
he was on the team.
Well, I think that's his point, is there they had stars, so he didn't have to be the star.
I just... If you want to have an opinion about Juju like that because he likes TikTok and has a little bit of a, I don't even want to call it an attitude because I don't think that's right, but that's your opinion. I'm not going to change your mind.
No. And if that's what you're concerned about, then I guess we'll see. I mean, it's certainly something that has been an issue around here if guys, but to Evan's point, I think that they're trying to change the locker room dynamic. And a lot of the bad juju last year was the fact that the offensive side of the ball.
You didn't even see what you did there.
Bad juju. Oh,
He
man.
knew what he was
No, I
doing.
didn't. I really didn't.
Subconsciously, you knew.
But I think a lot of the bad vibes last year were, because the offense didn't know what the hell they were doing. And so, that was trickle-down effect. And it wasn't like, they had all these bad personalities. Like, I don't think Kendrick Bourne did anything wrong when Josh McDaniel was here the year before and everything was going good. But Evan, if that's what you're concerned about, that he doesn't know the offense and that he might make TikToks, who knows? Maybe.
Stevie from Texas is mad at Evan too. He says
chiming in from around the corner.
Player,
The
people
listeners
mad at me
area
about
of
this. This is
grievances.
wild.
He says, let's get something straight, Evan. You keep mentioning Jacoby 800 yards from last year, but let's not forget he did this playing 14 out of 17 games. You can argue that two of those
Juju
14
had 933 and 15 games.
You can
Like, are we
argue
gonna
that
play
two
this
of those
game or
14
what?
games he was banged up. He could have easily had a better year than TikTok
My
boy
uncle
if
could
healthy.
be my aunt if you know.
Also, Evan, I think you're dreaming if you think we're going to draft a free agent and bring him in and develop him to a star receiver. Quit slandering Jacoby. He's better than any other receiver on the team. I think he would have produced well in Billy O's offense, and I'm very disappointed we let him walk for TikTok boy.
Just to be clear,
Oh, I feel almost bad for Juju now.
Jacoby, I'm not slandering Jacoby. Okay, this is for me. This is analysis like a business, like they evaluate football players. Okay, like I don't care about the person when it comes to what they're gonna do between the lines. I just don't. And I think Juju is a better football player than Jacoby, and I'm genuinely shocked that this fan base that's been starving for better playmakers on offense, just desperate for it for years now, is now coming out and saying, oh, but this guy was a good teammate, and he was a good system fit, and he was good in the locker room, and everybody, Mac loved him. Like, that's what we're gravitating towards now.
Run it back.
We used to get made fun of for gravitating towards some those types of things, and now we're doing that. Like, I'm so blown away that that's the narrative.
Franklin in Baltimore. Lazar said last show that he wants the Patriots to have a lineup of great receivers just like the Bengals. So why is there contentment over the Patriots signing Juju, where it is both a statistical as well as analytical fact he is a lesser receiver than what he showed in Pittsburgh? If the point is to have great receivers, period, shouldn't he want more than Juju? Because I absolutely do. He has proven to be a much lesser player than what his 2018 season showed, which is the definition of a statistical outlier, no matter how many excuses is given for his lack of production.
Well, yes, but like he's also at least demonstrated that he has a ceiling, and I'm not going to say that I'm going to come in here and expect that he's going to have what he had in 2018, which was 111 catches for 1,426 yards and 7 touchdowns. But it's not like he fell off a cliff. I mean, 2 years later, 2020, 97 catches, 9 touchdowns, 831 yards. The guy has produced. He's the same age as Jacoby. I think he's an improvement. And you can talk about, like, he's never going to be that guy again. Maybe not. But I think based on the kind of player he is, it's an upgrade on Jacoby Myers.
At least he has that on his resume. Like, at least we've seen him in the NFL have a season like he did in 2018 where he was a Pro Bowler and had these great stats. Like, at least that's on there, because they did in 2021 when they signed Aguilar and they signed Kendrick Bourne, that was about projecting forward of, oh, maybe this guy could break out. Maybe Kendrick Bourne, how many times have we heard the Kendrick Bourne breakout take, right? Like, oh, he's the guy that they need to feature in the offense. This guy has been featured in an offense and has produced at a high level and has made a pro. Like, they got a former Pro Bowler and people are mad about it. I feel like I'm living in like an alternate universe right now.
He doesn't know the offense.
Let's get back to the phones. We do have a lot more emails, and they're not happy, but we'll get to the phones. Xavier's in California. What's up, Xavier? Xavier!
X-Men.
What's up? Xavier? No? You on mute? No? Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to go to New York, where Tyson is on the phone. What's up, Tyson?
Yeah, what's up, guys? This is first-time caller, long-time listener.
Thank you.
I just want to say that you're welcome. I just feel like as a Patriots fan, I feel like I've been lied to, because Robert Kraft promised us an improved product on the field. Meanwhile, you're paying $250 million for a stadium renovation, but you don't have the balls enough to go and at least talk to Lamar Jackson and ask him what he wants.
It's March
There's no
16th.
Well, do you know that they didn't do
It's
that?
March 16th.
Yeah.
On the field.
Yeah, he's talking specifically. I mean, maybe they did talk to Lamar Jackson. I don't know that. I don't know.
Like I said, my problem is there's no buzz around this team. There's no buzz on social media about this team. We were promised an improved product. At least get in the room. At least give me something. Like, going for Juju, a TikTok star, what's the point of having this massive scoreboard when there's not going to be no points scored by Mac Jones?
Whoa.
It's obvious that Belichick doesn't believe in Mac Jones. Because if he did, he wouldn't have taken his Binky and Jacoby Myers away. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. The Patriot way is, okay, we're going to draft you, we're going to develop you, and then we're not going to pay you. As a matter of fact, we're going to go out and get somebody else and pay him the same exact money, which we should have paid Jacoby Myers. My problem is with this franchise is that you're middling. You're middling. You got Aaron Rodgers in the division. You got dog walked by the Bills the last few years. You can't win the division anymore. And now the Miami Dolphins have surpassed you. But you want me to go spend money to go see Matt Corkle-Jones throw to Juju?
Wow.
Schuster when they're off. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Why can't Belichick or Robert Kraft just pony up and at least give us a lap dance? At least get in the room with Lamar Jackson and ask him what he wants. Because at the end of the day, you can't win with this type of offense anymore. You've got to go out and get a franchise quarterback. And I don't care what he pays for. Why are fans so upset with, well, what are we dumpster diving? What are we shopping at the thrift store? If you want to get better, and you're going to get that investment back, by the way, because you're going to get it through jersey sales. You're going to get buzz on social media. You completely change the trajectory of your franchise going forward, rather than middling for the next 5 years.
All right.
Do something. That's all I'm asking. At least get in the room with Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
That's an
Xavier, I
all-time
love
call.
it.
Great
I
call.
love the
All-time
passion.
call.
I love it.
My favorite call ever.
That was like
favorite call ever.
That's my favorite call
that
ever.
That was really good. That was a mic drop
Brought the
type
thunder.
of phone call.
Brought the thunder.
Did I not do?
Paul would have liked that.
And it meant a lot
Paul
because
would've
it
really
came
liked
from
that.
someone that
every second of
listens and doesn't always feel the need to weigh in. Today
Yeah.
he felt the need to weigh
No,
in,
that was
and
that
it was
was
beautiful.
That was an epic call. Now the chances, if they had gotten in the room with Lamar, chances are Lamar would have said something. So they probably haven't. But honestly, we don't know. We don't know if they hadn't reached out to Lamar's mom and said, "Hey, Mom, what does he want?" Or
I like the point he made about like there's no buzz though. Like we'll hear like
I don't
the
care about
Patriots
that.
are interested
You
in
win
these
Super
players,
Bowls on
but
social media, but not
salary is
TikTok.
an issue, and it's just
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to
But-
hear more of that stuff. I would like to
So-
hear that they're getting after it.
But I don't think it's even about social media. I think it's about like even what I said on Tuesday in the show of like when you come to play the Patriots, what are you scared of? What challenges you? Nothing right now.
Yeah.
And like meanwhile, when we go into the Patriots locker room and they're facing other teams, they're like, yeah, we have to try to stop Lamar Jackson. Yeah, we have to try to stop Burrow, Chase. But when you play the Patriots and you go in their locker room and you're asking them like, what challenges do you face with this offense? Nothing.
Well, in all fairness,
so,
the Patriots would say that about Tyler Huntley. So
but
I mean,
but I'm saying like
Yeah.
there's just nothing that like you really that scares you. It's just been so predictable, so boring, so
Yeah.
like it's just not aesthetically pleasing.
No,
and so there is no buzz.
Who has
there is no
moved
buzz.
in free agency that would fit that? I'm with you in
Yeah.
the take, but like those players haven't moved yet. And we're all just getting all crazy and all riled up about the fact that the Patriots haven't had a sit down with Lamar. Has Lamar Jackson been traded? Has he? Where is Lamar Jackson playing for a different team? Has he signed an extension with Baltimore? Has there been any movement
I don't even
whatsoever?
want to use that as an example.
Okay,
but I'm just saying,
is DeAndre
as, like,
Hopkins been traded?
We need to find money for DeAndre Hopkins.
Has Odell signed with a new team? Has Jerry Jeudy moved?
Yeah, no, it's all good points. It's all
Yeah,
good points.
it's-
But I
it's
think that if you
still-
were targeting a top flight quarterback, you'd be doing it right now. You don't wait on that.
Yeah, no.
You know.
But we don't know if they're doing that or not.
Yeah, we don't
But
know.
to your point, do you think that like we're gonna get an update that Odell or Jerry Jeudy or we're making one of these trades?
I don't
like,
know.
is that feasible? Like, because for
all
me,
I can
I've
tell you-
ruled it out. It's a pipe dream.
All I can tell you is this, and I try not to say too much because I don't want to get in any hot water. Those conversations are going on in the building. That conversation about those level of players is going on 100 yards from here. The director of player personnel told me in an interview that those conversations are going on. We printed it on Patriots.com that those conversations are going on about this team, that they need to get that dynamic playmaker, that they need to pony up for those dynamic playmakers. Unfortunately, right now, 4 days into free agency, none of those guys have moved yet.
Yeah, and the Patriots don't want to be always negotiating against themselves. So they might have gone to a Jerry Jeudy or OBJ and said, "Listen, we want you. Here's our ballpark. Go see what can get. Come back to us. We're interested in you. So maybe it's just going to take time if it does happen.
Which I just think is good business generally. Like, I mean, I don't want to pour water on it, but like, don't you? I always just feel like the Patriots weren't like, it's good business. You should reach out on anybody that could potentially help the team.
Absolutely.
And say, what are you thinking? What's it going to take? Okay, not for us, but and then it's reported as, well, the Patriots checked in on him. Oh my God, like, so I mean, there's varying degrees of interest, and there's also a baseline of due diligence and needing to know what's available around the league. And I think, they're on top of it. So,
and you never know. Like the Bengals just signed Orlando Brown. They just spent a ton of cash.
Who would have thought that?
So maybe now it's time where they start picking up the phone about T. Higgins, because they're not going to pay him.
Yeah.
So who knows? Evan's right. It's early. So let's see what happens.
And they haven't really made, Juju was like a solid move, but that's not really a splash, like it's, and I think that they still have the resources to make those splash moves. So I think part of it is you need to let it play out a little bit, because everybody gets all hot and bothered this first week with, teams reaching out to guys. What are you thinking? How about this? How about, you're going back and forth in all kinds of different ways, trying to find compensation that'll work for everybody. So it's ongoing. It's ongoing right now. And like Evan said, we're day 4. So who knows? Within the next day and a half, it could continue to look different. It certainly looks a lot different to me. Maybe not worlds different than it did on Tuesday.
I'm interested. Has anyone heard what Chiefs fans are saying with Myers coming in?
You mean Raiders fans?
I mean Raiders fans.
No, I haven't seen.
Oh wait. He didn't. Never mind. I'm all confused.
Oh my God.
Mark that one, Matt.
Never. I'm all confused.
No, but Tamara was what
Myers
Tamara
went to
had
the
up on the
Raiders.
screen.
Yeah.
She had Jacoby look like he's doing his intro press
He is
conference
there.
in that press room that we were in out there in the Taj Mahal. So yeah, it's a little
it was
sad.
very sad. And I messaged my friends there. I'm like, y'all are getting a gem in Jacoby. You're gonna love him in the locker room.
Yeah.
Love him in the
They
locker
already
room.
have Adams, so I mean they're
gonna love him in the
feel-
locker room.
He's great.
I refuse to disparage
Let's go to Tyree in South Carolina. What's up, Tyree?
Hey, I don't know if you said China, but I'm in Charleston.
I said South Carolina.
Oh, I'm sorry. First of all, I love Evan. I hate that everybody's picking on him today. He's a great guy.
It's okay.
He has
Thank you.
always
We do
has
this
great
daily.
news, But I think as far as like the off-season acquisitions that we're trying to make, maybe we do end up with Mike Gesicki, or we get Jerry Jeudy with the contract that he has. But overall, I don't really know. I think we should really be looking towards the draft overall for what our future is, because we have great pieces on our defense and we have solid resources on our offense right now with the offensive line acquisitions that we made. So why don't we just look to the draft? Are you guys not hot on this draft at all?
Yes, I know. This is what I've been saying the whole time. It's like you got to do some stuff in free agency to round the roster out, and a move like Juju is good. But if this team is going to get back to where they were at the top of the division, it will come through the draft. It will not come through a bunch of splashy free agency.
And you got to remember, a good draft is if in the immediate future is when you get 2 guys who immediately make an impact. That's a good draft. But that's not going to turn around your team unless it's at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be at the quarterback position. So, yes, we're totally looking forward to the draft for maybe an impact player or 2, but also for building toward the future. Absolutely, it's critical. It's critical.
Yep. That's how you got into this mess.
That's how they're setting this thing up. They're setting this thing up so that when they get to the draft, they get on the clock at 14 in the first round, they are not forced to take a particular position. They can look at it and say, who's our best player on the board? And we're going to take that guy. Now, do I think position matters? Yeah, I don't think they're going to take a running back, right? But they're going to look at it and say, we have these 4 or 5 positions that we want to hit on in the first 4 rounds. Who's the best guy that we have rated here? I think last year they got into a position in the offseason by trading Shaq Mason and not matching the deal for Ted Karras, where they had to take a guard, and they were back against the wall at that position, and that's how you get the Cole Strange pick. Now the way that they've set it up, they don't run into that situation. So yeah, the caller said the draft is going to be everything, but we have 6 more weeks to go to the draft, and I don't think the patience meter is
right.
Thanks, Tyree.
And just highlight the last 2 draft classes too. Like those guys need to all continue to take steps forward. Josh Uche, needs to take a little bit of a step forward, maybe round out his game a little bit. Marcus Jones needs to take that step to be the full-time slot corner. They need to figure out a way to replace what Devin McCourty did, in piecemeal. It's not going to be one guy. So it's just there's a lot of time left. So I get why everybody's anxious. I mean, the first few days it was, you want something sexy. You want to come out of the gates with a big haymaker that sets the tone, and it wasn't really what they did.
I mean, it is true, though. You get an email right at the end of the season saying things are going to change. And I think everyone was trying to be patient all last season with, an unorthodox way of coaching a team without an offensive coordinator and other things. So I think, the frustration is stemming from all of that, and it's just it's hard.
Let's not underestimate or undervalue the move to bring in Bill O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time that Bill basically fired a coordinator?
Yeah, I mean, the
they all move on to better things or retire or whatever. But when's the last time that Bill just simply relieved somebody of their duties? I don't remember that.
Googe is the only.
Yeah,
that's not a coordinator.
But he wasn't a coordinator.
Yeah,
and he also. They had Dante coming out of retirement, so
Pease a little bit. Did they feel like they kind of tried to get out of Pease? Did that?
Yeah, that one fizzled out for sure.
Yeah, okay, but I thought that he was kind of temporary when he came. But yeah, okay,
I don't know. But
it doesn't.
I am
happen
surprised.
A lot here.
I got to be honest. As bad as last year was, and as much as all the offensive stuff was confirmed, I'm still surprised that Matt Patricia is just out completely. I really didn't see that coming. So I do think it's significant.
Yeah. Let's go to Sean in Vancouver. What's up, Sean?
Hey, everyone. I doubt Mr. Myers is still listening, but we all love
Raiders Unfiltered. He said, "What are you?"
Yeah, if we have to go to that, I don't think I will. But, he was the best. Jacoby was the best receiver the Patriots had the last 3 seasons, and I think moving to the Raiders is going to be good for him because he has Devontae Adams there. He's not going to be blanketed on every obvious passing down. So I could see him getting, over 1,000 yards. Maybe it's not going to be 1,400 and 111 catches, but I think he's going to have a good year. But this is what brings us back to the Patriots, and we're still waiting. Juju, I'm kind of happy. I think he's similar to Myers. Maybe he has a higher ceiling and a better yak, but we need something else. We need that number one, and that's what I'm waiting for, and we'll hopefully get that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Sean. John writes in, says, "I am not mad at Evan.
Thank you.
I agree that Juju is an upgrade, but we still need a WR1. I like the signing, but we still miss Myers." Yeah. So
there's just nobody's disputing that they can't be done with Juju. And I think one thing that I would definitely, if we get to that Tuesday show after the draft, and they're just expecting Tyquan Thornton to take a leap, and they run it back with everybody else just plus Juju, then I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be satisfied with that. So that's the one thing that I'm concerned about is that. You talk about who would be a nice compliment next to Juju. A speed guy like Tyquan Thornton, in theory, would be the right player. And I am a little bit concerned that they think that Tyquan is just going to be that guy. I just didn't see that enough evidence from his rookie season that he can be that guy.
Tim, our friend from Duncan, writes in, I'm hearing all the negative feedback Evan is receiving, and I want to say I am in agreement with him. I like Jacoby, but I believe Juju will be an improvement over him. And maybe he won't throw it to the other team and eliminate the Patriots from the playoffs.
That was something.
Wow.
That was uncalled for.
We
made that joke yesterday.
Who was giving you hate? I'm very confused.
A lot of people.
Literally,
you haven't been listening to the emails?
Oh, the emails are.
Yeah,
okay, got it. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Coming at him hard.
I mean, I did give you grief about the Josh Allen thing, but outside of that,
You've had
great
and I love that you're taking all the arrows because I've been in completely lockstep with you about this.
I think
move,
I'm just. I get annoyed this time of year, as you all can
Really?
probably
You?
tell. I get annoyed because people are so impatient.
Right.
Roster building is a long process. Okay, there's checkpoints throughout the season, the off season. You have the start of free agency, then you have the draft, then you have training camp, and there's usually moves, roster cut downs and that type of stuff. Usually there's some more player movement at that point. Then you have the trade deadline during the season. These are different. We are at step one of, I would say, really 3 steps of true player movement, which obviously the draft and the end of training camp being the other one. just give it some time. Like, give them some time. If they don't do anything, then we can all be up in arms. But right now, everybody, like Mike said earlier in the show, wants to win the Super Bowl in the first 4 days of free agency. That's not how it works.
Joe said,
I think everyone has that mentality because of the Rams and how they just stacked, and they won the Super Bowl. But again,
look at where they are now.
I know, but they did whatever they could to get the guys there, and they won the Super Bowl. And so I think that when you see
all
things,
in.
They went all in. They literally did. Again, cap space where you're like, it doesn't exist. But I think that's why, and I think you see other teams, I guess. Well, the Panthers, they really needed to get that draft
But even
pick.
still,
That's different.
with the Rams, Ramsey was a trade deadline acquisition. Odell was released midseason by Cleveland and then signed with LA after that. So they still kept adding players that made huge dividends for them in the playoffs. So they weren't done. Like, they didn't just get Matthew Stafford in February. I think that trade went down early, and then they're just like, all right, cool, yeah, see you in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like that, they kept on adding players, and that's what good teams do.
Yeah, and I think that's what they want. They want the Patriots to keep adding players. Like the 49ers continued to add players. I mean, obviously they had some serious quarterback issues later on that they weren't planning. Like, you can't plan for those things. But I think they want the Patriots to become that team that will take those risks.
Well.
I 100% get that. They want the Patriots to go
Take the
for it,
risks.
I get that, but you got to give it some time to let it materialize. The market is still, they really haven't had a tight end that's even signed anywhere yet. Juju and Jacoby Myers are I think Paris Campbell just signed with the Giants, and I think that him and Hardy are in Buffalo. We're starting to see some movement in the wide receiver market, but not a ton.
I also think you want to see the Patriots get away from the Patriot way. And, I think that you have to be able to adapt and you have to be able to change with the times. Like, you can't just do everything the way you've been doing it.
I don't think they signed Juju 5 years ago. I just don't think that's a move.
I just can't get over, though. Like, they did this 2 years ago. Like, they went crazy in free agency. Like, you're talking about they need to change it up. Like, they changed it up 2 years ago.
But those were
and we know how it
that's
works.
Exactly.
Like,
so,
But I
are
feel
we
like-
rebuilding or are we just trying to patch and win again and be a top
think
tier?
we're trying to
That's
be
what
both.
the confusion
But-
is,
well,
and that's
but
it's
let me
like,
ask
why
you
are we
this. Let
playing
me ask this
the
though, Alex.
middle?
So, how would you rebuild a team? Do you think how do you rebuild a team is
burn it
mainly
all
through
down
free
and
agency?
start from scratch?
But don't you feel like that's what they kind of did in 2020?
I don't think we can do that. I think we have a rabid fan base. I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see us tanking. But it's just that's why people are so anxious and there's so much angst because it's like, what are we?
Oh, but I also think all that money that was spent, none of those guys I would have probably spent that much money for it. Like, I feel like they were kind of off brands. Like, they weren't like Nelson Aguilar. Why? Johnny Smith. Why? I think there's just those were
Johnny
guys
was
that
the only really bad contract.
I mean, it wasn't just about the bad contract. It was just
But it's just
those
like,
just
but
weren't
those are the moves
guys I
though at
would've
the
picked.
time that had they done those on Tuesday of this week, that the people would not have the torches out, And the reality of that situation though was that yes, we made some free agency splashes. How much difference is it going to make? A little. Like, some of these guys will work out okay, other are not going to work out. So I just think it's a little bit of a cautionary tale to be like, all right, maybe I'm not going to lose my mind that we didn't reproduce 2021 because I saw how that worked out. Like, again, who are we? I think we're a team that needs to build through the draft and needs to do it the right way. The way they got into this was they missed on important draft picks. Too many high round draft picks at the end of Tom Brady's career. Midway 2010, they picked up Edelman. They picked up Gronkowski. They found generational players. Dante Hightower, guys that would come in and be part of championships. They didn't find those guys in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. They have to find those guys again. They have to find stars, and they come all in the draft. You mentioned the 49ers. I mean, Fred Warner, what was he, a fifth-round pick? I mean, they exist. Like, guys like that do exist. I know it's hard. You can't count on it, but you have to draft well. And I don't see any other way back to the top than nailing these drafts.
Including drafting well, you can't trade back. Like, you need to, stay or trade up.
I mean, I think there's an argument to be made that you need pure talent that usually just comes at the top. But depending, you get to 14 and you're like, I don't know. I don't love these.
Could you trade back, but don't pick a guard.
Right. Could we, instead of 14, could we pick somebody at 27 and we pick up something in the 40s too?
I hate to keep harping on that, Fred, but
I know they had to. I know it was a neat pick.
You're preaching to the choir. That pick just set this whole thing back. It set this whole thing back at least a year.
I will never forget, when we were live in the stadium for that show, when that pick was made, you could hear a pin drop in the room.
Yeah.
Pin drop.
Poor guy.
I know, he's so
I know.
kind, too. He's the kindest kid.
I like
great
Five
guy.
Guys. You're like, you ruined our team.
He's awesome. Joe
the
writes
worst
in.
part.
He says, I feel like this is pretty simple. If Juju is the number one receiver, this sucks.
No, but you're right. You're right.
But he's not.
Yeah, I mean, if they think that Juju Smith-Schuster is going to, like, swapping Jacoby for him and then we run it back with
He
the same
can't
group.
be. He might end up being, but he can't be.
That's not plan A. Let me put it to you that way.
Right. Eric from Amherstburg, can we talk about Juju being Josh Gordon 2.0? One great season 4 years ago who's been meh with guys like AB and Kelsey taking the pressure off what he's going to do with this cast. We know what Jacoby gave us and had the chemistry with Mac and was producing. Juju was going to put up the same numbers as Myers.
Okay, well, this is nothing like Josh Gordon. So no.
And there are a lot of other issues going on with Josh Gordon. And, I mean, he just wasn't even the same player, even close. I mean, just go back and watch Juju in the Super Bowl. Watch him with Kansas City. Like, he can still play.
So I'm going to, rewind to something we talked about earlier. Speaking of people complimenting each other, look at this picture.
Oh, I saw this. Yeah, Neil shared Jack Jones and Juju at USC, Trojans.
Wild.
Dun, 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 dun. Did you go to a lot of games at the Coliseum?
Oh, yeah.
I went to a couple. I had a friend who was a Washington State fan, so I usually got dragged to those.
How
UCLA.
is it? Do fans actually go?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, yeah.
They go?
So the best game that I went to was Penn State USC Rose Bowl. It was Darnold against Saquon, and it was like one of the best football games I've seen live. They just went toe to toe, 4 quarters, just lighting up the scoreboard back and forth. It was great. USC ended up winning the game, but
the closest I got to a Rose Bowl was that I had to take my boss's son's USC jersey and meet them somewhere so that they could go to the Vince Young, Matt Leinart epic game of the century that was that Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
But that's another great spot too. They're nice, two nice. I mean, they're old, but you can feel kind of the football history
Coliseum
around
is
those
fun
places.
too. But don't get lost walking around the area around the Coliseum. That's just my advice.
That's good advice.
Let's see. Matt in Manchester, UK. I said, I just want to say, let's not confuse Juju's potential, bad Juju, as a social media guy with his football skills. Juju is a businessman who is into digital content, who's setting up for his career after football. Let's judge him on his football. What I will say is I'm not sure if Bill will understand Juju's presence in clear love and addiction of social media, Snapface, whatever. Yeah.
I mean, you have to adjust with the times. I don't think that Bill is this. No one can be on social media. Delete your TikTok. You have to evolve in that regard. And as Tamara said, I mean, there's bigger points of evolving in terms of football stuff, but with that stuff, everybody's on it. What are you gonna do? You're gonna have employees come in and you can't be on social
I'm just
media.
gonna start referring to him as player A.
Player A.
Because I think his name, it really does. It comes with this
JSS.
all this extra baggage of
JSS and JSN. We'll get to
TikTok and all this other stuff off the field that everybody keeps harping on. This is another pet peeve of mine, as you all know. This is not about football. You're not even talking about football. Yeah. You're talking about how you don't like that the guy makes TikToks.
Is he good on TikTok? What does he do on TikTok? I gotta follow him. I gotta check him out.
I think we should sign OBJ and then make it our goal to have all our offensive weapons have 3 names.
Oh, I would love it. From a writing standpoint, I'm going to get behind that 100%.
The headlines.
It's all initial.
That was about a tweet. I was literally about to text you that last night. I'm like, yeah, I'm done with writing out Smith-Schuster already.
Oh, yeah, JSS.
James Pettigrew, the most interesting Patriots fan in the world, says, regarding how the Patriots do business in the offseason, he says there's a difference between good business and always setting the floor in terms of contract offers.
Oh.
Well, they outbid the Chiefs for Juju,
Yeah.
so I'm not sure if they set the floor on that one.
There you
go. Let's get back to the phones. The Ace Ticket Hotline will go to Aaron in Virginia. What's up, Aaron? Aaron.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Terrence.
What is it?
Terrence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terrence.
For one, thank you for having me. I listened to you guys for the past couple years now, and it's kind of like my first time, but thank you. Two, I feel like we're in the same position where we were last year, where we had to sit back and watch. I do like the move. I consider it like a B+ from Jacoby Myers. But it's definitely a sit back and, and wait type of move. We are in a better position coaches wise. We're just really gonna have to sit back and wait. I do see a lot more explosiveness when it does come to the offense, but I do also kind of get concerns with the defense as well, because a big presence is lost with I'm sorry, Devin McCourty not there. So and we still have Matthew Slater as a veteran, but on the defensive side, I do kind of embrace some type of concerning. That's it.
All right. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks for the call.
Let's go to Michael in South Carolina. What's up, Michael? Michael. Hello, Michael. We're getting a lot of this today.
Yeah. Quiet. I think the Juju thing is a good thing to keep in the back pocket of how are they going to get guys, Mike? Nobody wants to play here. Like Juju picked to play with the Patriots for more money to overplay.
But we want the locker room guy now, Mike. We want the scheme fits, the homegrown talent.
Mac likes him.
Cody in Indiana says, I'm disgusted that the team hasn't gone and traded for Patrick Mahomes, Devontae Adams, George Kittle, and T.J. Watt.
Now, this is my kind of
What are we
email.
doing? Good grief. I finally agree with Paul. We are such a whiny fan base. I personally like the Juju deal. I think he's an upgrade who provides more playmaking ability than Jacoby. I also would say Juju is not enough, and we still need to get a true wide receiver one. But sheesh, callers, calm down. It's March 16th. Chillax.
I think everyone's on the same page. Some people are just more animated than others.
You know what? And
Some
look, I
people
think
are
I should
the
just
angers
say, like,
coming out
People
in
are
front.
brats about it, not you.
And you know what? It's fine.
I'm being
it's
a brat
fine.
about
Like
it.
a long time
A little
ago,
bit.
I just accepted that like this is sports, and anyone can watch it and do it the way they want to do it. And if you want to bitch about what the team is or isn't doing, go for it. And if you want to be overly positive about it, go for it. Like it doesn't matter. It's sports. Like it's just supposed to be fun. Do it your own way.
Mike writes in, no Paul, thank God.
That was me. I wrote that in.
Evan and Deuce are spot on. Big upgrade with Juju. It's way too early to start whining.
Yeah. I mean, it's still Thursday. I mean, like, you realize by, like,
It's only
tomorrow,
Thursday.
Like, I mean, and honestly, like, not that the weekend is a deadline, but, Friday, it's news dump time, and all of a sudden, oh, look, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Look what they did.
El from Wisconsin says, Mike is 100% correct. Teams need to be built through the draft. Too bad we have a guy who can't draft.
We
We
got to get over it.
That's a cheap shot. Joey writes in, I understand why people are upset about not keeping Myers, but I also think it's delusional to say that it was a bad move. We got Juju for less than the Raiders got Myers, and he's way better after the catch. I love Myers, and I think it's unfortunate that we couldn't retain a guy who truly pulled himself up through the ranks, but everyone loves the 49ers, and they put a tremendous amount of value on Yak. Let's get the wide receiver one and have a good season. Okay.
I mean, go ahead. I don't know.
No, I just was going to say that I texted you that clip when we were going back and forth. You texted me the whip route.
I saw Juju running a whip route. I'm like, Evan.
Yeah, that's my
Go,
medicine
incoming
right there.
text.
And then I texted you the clip of him taking that slant like 45 yards against Buffalo, where he breaks the tackle. He gets a little bit loose on the line of scrimmage, catches the slant in stride, breaks Jordan Poyer's tackle in the middle of the field, and then breaks it down for another 45 yards. And that Jacoby's just not making that play. Like, I'm sorry, he's just not making that play. And those are the types of plays that in this offense, especially with this quarterback, you're not going to see bombs away with Mac be successful.
One of the things, though, I saw one of the compilations for Juju yesterday, and it was all Patrick Mahomes off-platform.
There is some
scrambling.
of that. I think it's a good
that
point.
ain't going to happen.
No,
here.
I think that's a good point, Fred. And that's something I thought, too. I thought that, too. Totally. I mean, a lot of those ones. And I had the same thing about Aguilar with his big season with Derek Carr, where it felt like he's got a lot of plays, but they're always like late in the down, and he just fires it and downfield. So that's a point.
Yeah, there's one of his longest touchdown of the year against Buffalo last year. He like spins out of a tackle and two guys run into each other. That play's not happening here.
But he also did play with Big Ben when he was just not that good anymore. So like I feel like he has
that's an excuse, Tamara.
But but I'm saying like he has played with guys who aren't don't have the skills as
Well,
Patrick Mahomes
then you
has.
can say the same thing for Jacoby. Like, he played with a rookie quarterback and a guy in a
No,
bad
I'm saying,
offensive.
but I'm saying that
Yeah.
Juju can play with both. Like he can
Yeah.
play with, deal with someone who's like
Yeah.
At the
just
end of the day,
throwing
he chose
unbelievable
Mac.
passes.
He's used to having.
He chose the money.
But I'm
chose
saying,
Mac.
like
Well,
Juju
yeah,
has played
but-
in two styles of offense. Like one with Big Ben, where he was like nowhere
A
near Big
statue.
Ben. Yes.
Yeah.
And then one with Mahomes, who's making ridiculous.
But that's the biggest difference. Is you look at those 7-yard passes where a guy like Jacoby probably gets 7 yards, right? He gets it, but he catches it, and it's 3rd and 6, and that might move the chains in that situation. But Juju has that ability to take that 7 yards and turn it into 25. And that's something that I think in that specific role in their offense is needed, because you're not going to get more explosive and more dynamic if you're going 7 yards at a time. Now you have somebody that if he makes a guy miss, all of a sudden we're in the open field and we're running away with it. They didn't have that in this offense, and they need more of that.
I just that's like to the bigger point. I just feel like they have no guys that get yak. I mean, it's like the whole team. It's like everybody catches the ball and falls down, and that was part of the thing I hate about Philip Dorsett. But some of the hope with Thornton is like, can we have an offense? And maybe this is goes to the offense last year, but can we hit Thornton in stride on a slant and just let him go? Let him do what your Buffalo guy thing, or just he's just running over. It's like just run over, race the guy to the sideline. We're gonna hit you at the hash and turn it up.
What are the odds that we'll see Marcus play on offense again?
You'll see him.
I think you have
but
to.
but we shouldn't be counting on
No,
that. That's
I know.
not fair to him, and I don't think that's
2 or 3 plays a game. You should have enough
Yeah.
offensive weapons that you don't have to go to that. But I think he's too good, and why not? I'm all for developing Marcus Jones into like one of the most unique and interesting players in the NFL. To your point, and what are we excited about? Excited about him. Like, this could be a legitimate 3-way football player who contributes, going forward on all downs.
Before I go to the next person on the Ace Ticket Hotline, is this name correct? The person from California, Faith Talwinder? It is. Okay, we'll see. So Talwinder in California, is that right? Did I get your first name right?
You did, yes. Thank
Okay, that's an unusual first name, but okay. Yeah.
I've called a few other times, Brad. You got my name right every single time, so thank you.
It's me? Okay.
We'll remind him next time.
So there, Eric.
Thanks for taking my call, man. I just wanted to call in. I was listening, and I just wanted to show some love to Evan. He's been getting beat up, but I think he's right. I think we've been super spoiled. We just need to relax, calm down, and have some patience. I think Juju is definitely an upgrade over Jacoby. Jacoby was a great locker room guy, but come on now, what are we doing here? We want good locker room guys. You guys talked about how these days it's those diva receivers they're making these big time plays, right? AJ Brown or DeAndre Hopkins or Devontae Adams. So I think we just need to be a little bit more patient. Not sure if we're going to get one of those guys. Maybe, hopefully, we can get DeAndre Hopkins or someone else. But I think we've got to be patient and just relax a little bit. I know the Jets are making some moves, the Dolphins are making some moves, but we own the division for 2 decades, and I think we'll be back. So just have some patience, relax. It's a long-term process.
Nice. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Talwinder.
Do we have to?
That's enough, Evan.
Someone even keeled.
Let's go to Ronan in the UK. What's up, Ronan? My name's Bob.
Hi, how are you guys doing? I'm a first-time caller from the United Kingdom.
Okay.
A lot of first-timers today.
I'd just like to respond to what I believe Xavier said from Carolina earlier in the call, talking about Mac Jones, and he said that he doesn't think Mac Jones is a franchise quarterback, and I'd like to argue in favor of Mac Jones.
Okay.
So, I watched Mac Jones all season. I thought he has way more potential than a lot of people give him credit for, and I'd like to go through the last 5 games of the season with Mac Jones. So against the Cardinals,
Play-by-play?
we went down early, and
That's
Mac
my
Jones
job.
came back with 20 unanswered points. Against the Raiders, there was the Jacoby Myers lateral. We almost went into overtime, and I feel like we had a lot of momentum in that game. Against the Bengals, we were 22-0, and then he came back all the way, and it ended with a fumble. We all know how that went. We beat the Dolphins in what I thought was a really, really good game for Mac. And then against the Bills, after all what happened with the heart attack and all that, they go on the field, and it's a kick return for a touchdown. And Mac Jones comes on the field with the offense and runs for a touchdown. In that game, the Patriots had more offensive points than Josh Allen and the Bills did. So I'm totally on board with Mac Jones. I think he's going to be great next year. I disagree with all those people who want to bring in Lamar. I think giving out 2 first-round picks for that is a bad idea. And I'm on board with Juju, and I want a receiver that we don't need to give picks away for because I like those picks.
All right. Listen, Ronan, I love it. I love it.
Some positivity. That's what we needed.
That's a call where I kind of like to see Paul do his thing. It's kind of fun. That
Yeah.
way.
Now, I love the defensive Mac.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that nothing on the offense looked right last week, including Mac. But was he a victim of the whole disarray? Probably.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Now, Paul, playing the part of Paul, Paul will point out that even in that rookie season where, he was good, he wasn't good down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened down the stretch, and the team faded. So, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's go. We've got a real offensive coordinator in here. This is now his 3rd year. I still believe, even if Jacoby was still here and Juju wasn't, that this group of offensive players did not live up to their potential last year, and they were better than what they showed. And that could have been part of the offense problems too. Let's see what happens this year. I'm not here saying we got to get rid of Mac. I am not saying that. That to me, we're not worried about the quarterback position right now. Right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we will be by the end of the season, but right now I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about everything else.
Yeah.
But the quarterback position right now, to me, is settled for this year. This is what it's going to be, and we're going to see what this kid can do. And let's build the rest of the team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think he's totally, without blame on some stuff. There was some stuff I wish that we were a little bit different from Mac, but I agree. And I think that this is the year about let's give him a chance. We're giving him an offensive coordinator that, he knows a little bit. I know it was a brief passing of time that they were together, but you're giving him some different pieces to work with. Now we got to know. We got to know this year. But I'm with you. I think we got to know this year. We'll find out this year, and then then you're talking about next year. All right, where is it? I just hope to Paul's point is that he doesn't think that they're going to do enough to really truly get a sense of Mac or to give him enough, and that we'll still be saying, well, he really didn't have that number one guy.
For some people, he did enough for them to believe he's not the guy. So why can't in a season he do enough to believe? It's unfair.
Yeah.
It's unfair. So let's just see when it comes to Mac. Does he have to work on his comportment?
His
Absolutely,
leadership,
absolutely. But he's a tennis guy. I get it.
The guys in the locker room
he'll
seem to
figure
like
it out.
Is he a good locker room guy, though?
He's got chemistry.
I think players were saying they liked him.
I
Landon
think
Roberts going to the Steelers.
Yeah, I think guys.
Who?
Landon Roberts.
Landon.
Oh, going to the Steelers. Wow, that's a good place for him.
He's a fullback.
That's a good
too.
place
he
for
can
him.
play fullback.
He doesn't like that. Don't say that.
Oh, and Steelers are releasing Miles Jack.
Oh,
it's a name I know.
Yeah. Let's see. Calvin in Connecticut. Love the fire in the call, Xavier, but I'm not sure if it's all correct. There is some truth to trust the process. It's only March. But where I do agree, I used to have fun watching the Patriots and going to games, even if they didn't win it all that year. They had Brady and Gronk and Edelman. Stars where you saw the stadium full of jerseys. Who makes you want to buy a jersey nowadays? Maybe Judon, I don't know. It hasn't been fun to watch the last few seasons. Get stars or draft and develop stars. It hasn't happened in 5 years. Your team will perform better too. Higgins or Judy or JSN, and I will jump for joy.
I think, Judon jerseys for sure. Juju could sell some jerseys.
It's just funny. I'm all for Jerry Jeudy. That's great, but really, is that really the guy?
Not anymore.
Is that
They need some speed on the outside now, which is why I go back to that. I'm a little worried that they think it's Tyquan. But yeah, they need some speed on the outside because Juju is going to be the one in the middle of the field. You got to get those safeties off of him, open up some space.
Howard says it's official. The Patriots have the whiniest fan base of all. Good God, it's been like 3 days. Let's relax and see where it goes. My takes: love Jacoby and what he brought to the team. Juju is a good replacement and a slight upgrade. Robinson is an upgrade over Harris, assuming he's healthy. Reif and Anderson are solid pickups and build depth. Re-signing Pepper, Jones, Davis, McMillan, McDermott, Ferentz, Slater, all solid re-signings. The division: Rodgers to Jets is Favre to Jets 2.0. Ramsey to Finns, great player, nice pickup, still can only cover one receiver at a time. How Tua goes is how the team goes, not the best defensive back. Bills lost the D coordinator and their best tackling linebacker. Let's relax, have some patience, and see where this goes.
I am interested to see what Buffalo does to weather that storm a little bit, because they're a team that we always say to kind of tease the Bills fan base, I think, a little bit. But at the same time, I think it's valid that sustainability is the hardest part. Like, you got the quarterback. I think you're going to be relevant for forever because you have the quarterback. But Leslie Frazier's out. Tremaine Edmonds is out. I think Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde are getting up there in age. How do you start to get that next wave behind Josh Allen in there? It's going to be interesting.
And expectations are
really
raising.
wanted
And it's
Trey.
like, I think the fan base, as I was, and we all were, you're aware, it's ticking. You got this quarterback. You've got it going right now. But every season is very valuable.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. Catch 22 is next. Evan, 2 more hours of Evan, along with Alex Barth.
Call in and yell at him.
Yeah, we've got callers hanging on. Sorry I didn't get to you. Stay on the line, and you can be part of the Catch 22 experiment. So we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check patriots.com for more news and more podcasts. Some of the content of Patriots